Hello, and welcome to the first ever Powercat pregame show brought to you by the K-State Collegian. My name is Mike Stanton. I'm here with our sports editor, Sean Frye, and we're bringing you all you need to know about this Saturday's matchup between defending Big 12 champions Kansas State and the preseason favorite, Oklahoma State. Both teams are coming off disappointing losses in their Big 12 openers, and a loss on Saturday could spell the end of their title dreams. What are the big storylines heading into Saturday's game, Sean?
Well, Mike, you kind of hit it on the head there. The biggest storylines are the fact that both these teams are 0-1. K-State is coming off a year where it won the Big 12, just got its second Big 12 title in conference history. But Oklahoma State, they were the 2011 champions, and they were picked to win it again this year. So you have two teams, two of the bigger perennial powerhouses in the Big 12 as of late. They're both 0-1, and a loss on Saturday is going to really dig their own grave going forward to the rest of the season, and we're not even into the second week of October.
With two offensive-oriented teams squaring up on Saturday, quarterback play is going to be a big factor. Tell us a little bit more about that, Sean.
Well, Mike, for K-State, they obviously had that two-quarterback system of Jake Waters and Daniel Sams. If you remember last year here in Bill Snyder Family Stadium, Daniel Sams saw really his first significant playing time against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. That was the game Colin Klein suffered his concussion. So he's familiar with this team. But for Jake Waters, he's going up against the league's worst-rated pass defense. So obviously when K-State fell down early at Texas, Jake Waters stayed in the game. Sams didn't see the field in the second half because Bill Snyder had to go to the air, and it was Jake Waters that gave the Wildcats the best chance to win in that situation. For Oklahoma State, they have J.W. Walsh. He's one of the Big 12 leaders in total offense. He's a great dual-threat guy. He's got a good arm. He's accurate. He knows how to move the chains in that up-tempo offense, but he can also run the ball when needed. But he struggled against West Virginia, whose defense isn't very good. So for J.W. Walsh, he's looking to have a rebound game. But for Kansas State, if they're going to look to go to the air, which they may very well against a weak secondary for Oklahoma State, then Jake Waters may be the guy.
Well, we've talked about offense, but obviously some stops are going to have to be made. Both of these teams have struggled a little bit on defense this year. Tell us a little bit more about what we can expect on the defensive side of the ball, Sean.
Well, for Kansas State, what they've really liked this year defensively is putting pressure on the quarterback. They only have 17 sacks this year, and against the Longhorns, Shaquille Reed was the only guy to record a sack, and he had one. So they're really going to put pressure on J.W. Walsh if they want to set the tone in the game defensively, especially against that no-huddle, up-tempo offense that Mike Gundy runs down there in Stillwater. As for the Cowboys, they had the league's worst-rated pass defense, but the league's top-rated rush defense. Their defensive line, which is led by Calvin Barnett, is great this year. They know how to stop the run, and obviously John Hubert is probably going to run into some problems there, but for Oklahoma State, they're going to really want to lock down on K-State's top two receivers, Tremaine Thompson and Tyler Lockett. Lockett coming off that huge game where he had 237 yards receiving against the Longhorns, which was a school record. Oklahoma State's going to have to put the clamps on those guys if they want to have a chance and not let this get into a shootout, which it was 2 years ago in 2011 down there.
There are a couple of things that each team is going to have to focus on Saturday. Sean, tell us a little bit about the keys to the game.
For Kansas State, they have two very important keys. One, and it's something that Coach Snyder preaches all the time, is control what you can control. At Stillwater, they had 3 turnovers and 8 penalties. That's very uncharacteristic of a Bill Snyder coach team. If you can control those things, you'll give yourself a great chance to win. And the second key to the game is you got to find the right system for those two quarterbacks. Whether it's just sticking with Jake Waters or sticking with Daniel Sams for the whole game or finding a better way to implement both throughout the game plan, they have to find that mesh that works because against Texas, it looked really bad. And then for Oklahoma State, they've got to improve their pass defense. We already talked about it, but they are the worst team at defending the pass in the Big 12. Clint Trickett, the quarterback from West Virginia, is an average quarterback at best, but he looked like a superstar against that secondary and got West Virginia that huge upset win. And the second key to the game to them is they got to keep their offense on the field. They set the tone offensively with their tempo. If they can continue to set that tempo and put up a lot of points, they could just run away from the Wildcats early.
It's sure to be an exciting matchup on Saturday in Stillwater. For live updates, follow @SportsCollegian on Twitter and check out our website at kstatecollegian.com. From Bill Snyder Family Stadium, I'm Mike Stanton.
And I'm Sean Frye.
Thank you and see you next time.